Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone had good holidays. We are full bore into 2024 now, and I wanted to do more videos. That's been my goal for 2024. Unfortunately, at the beginning of last year, we lost a family member. My wife did, and we've been dealing with the fallout of that. There's just a lot of things that have gone into trying to get that. Plus, with the way the weather is, you also kind of deal with seasonal ups and downs. Some people call it seasonal depression. I just think that it's just a lot of ups and downs. We've had some nice days lately, and it's been better. And we are super excited about 2024. And also this year, I am trying to record more of our life, just things that are going on this summer. We're gearing up to print, another 4,000 or 5,000 garments just to get ready for the summer. We're really going to start diving into that again. Hopefully a lot more shop stuff. We have a really busy agenda. Last year, my wife traveled a lot. She did a lot of traveling. I didn't really get to. We went to Anchorage in August. We also went to San Diego. But this year, there's a lot of stuff planned. Got a lot of Alaska stuff planned too. My goal this summer has been to film more, see more of Alaska, do more things, take you guys along this journey. Not just of our day-to-day life, but just the things we're doing as a family. And so I think it's going to be a balance of probably starting the channel that's more family-based, but there is a lot of stuff that's work-related too. We are not most likely, I will be going to Juneau in the beginning of June. There's a bi-yearly event that goes on called Celebration, and it brings everyone in the state together. A lot of Alaska Native culture, a lot of singing, a lot of dancing. And so one of my friends who I've known for a long time, he's actually going this year. It was never really something that he enjoyed doing or wanted to do, but this year the person hosting it is someone that is highly respected in the community. And so they're super excited about that. We also plan on going to Anchorage, both to kind of do some booths for Woodlands, and then, also film and see more of kind of what the interior Alaska is like. When we spent a week out there this last summer, but 3 or 4 of those days we were just out in Girdwood at Aliska and just kind of had some time off. So I didn't really make a lot of content. We're getting a little off track. That's not why we're here today. We're here today because today is my 43rd birthday. And, I don't know who I'm making this for. Maybe it offers something to you if you're trying to do YouTube or content creating or if you're just trying to live life, right? I usually am, when we're doing the business stuff, I try to be, clean around the edges. But let's just be honest. Life can get tough, and so I thought today's video, I thought I would just be talking to my younger self, or talking to you if you're younger, or even if you're older and you feel like you're not doing all the things you want to do. I'm just talking to you, but I'm also just kind of talking to me, and I think that this video is just kind of a journal of where I've been and what I'm hoping for. I kind of said what I'm hoping for 2024. And I think it's just a video of not giving up, talking about not giving up. No matter where you are in your life journey, you're still living life, and you still have hopefully a lot of life left in front of you if you can control it. Or even if you don't, hopefully it's just a look back and to enjoy the things you have done. So I came across this video the other day of a pretty big YouTuber, and he had filmed himself just as he got diagnosed with cancer, and they put the video out basically after he had passed away. And I don't know, it really hit home. I think with all the stuff we've been dealing with the family stuff and just kind of everything in general, I just thought, I don't know, this would be a video if I look back on, I can feel proud of or whatever. And if you come across this video, I hope that it adds value to you. And like I was just saying, no matter where you are in life, you can always change what you want to do, who you want to be. There's no age limit to rediscovering yourself. There's no, Unfortunately, we live in a world where Instagram and YouTube even, and all these places make it feel like you have to be 18 or 19 to live your best life. And if you're not capturing these things or you're not with it, then you've already been passed by. And that's not true. I mean, I feel like for me, and I try to write scripts, and then I feel like I get off of it, but I want to just keep this raw and real. I mean, I've done 42 trips around the sun, and I feel like I do know a lot of things, even though my kids think I know nothing and they seem to have all the answers. I just think that where I started and where I'm at now are just totally two different lives in that sense. And that's okay. You can look at each decade as a chapter of your life, or even reinventing your life. My life at 20 was different than my life at 30, and my life at 30 is even different than my life at 40. And that's okay. I mean, I think every 10 years you kind of have those moments. Obviously when you hit 20, you don't really have that. I mean, maybe you have that, oh shit moment. I'm an adult now. What the fuck am I going to do? But really for me, when I hit that age, I was just like, I could do what I want. Like, I was always a good kid. And I think for me, when I got into my 20s, I kind of rebelled. I got into my music, my DJing. I thought I was going to be a superstar DJ. I started, just living life and doing things. And you didn't have Instagram, or you didn't have these things to really chase back then. I mean, hell, you barely had phones. And I just think that, life is different. A lot of people see all these people nowadays living their best life. And, in some ways social media is good. In some ways it's like you just feel even more depressed or more anxious that you have to figure it out right away. And I'm telling you, you don't. Like, enjoy the moments, enjoy your life, because time is the one thing we cannot get back. Time is A to B. That's it. There's a beginning and an end. And it sounds morbid, and I'm not trying to sound morbid, but in between A and B, you can choose whatever path you want. Obviously, some things are chosen for us. Some things are fate. Some things the universe just puts into our lives, and that's how it is. And so for me, I say to you, you might say, Jeremy, this is obvious. We all know that time is something you can't get back. But do you really know? Do you really know that time that is something you can't get back? Because a lot of us live our lives like we don't know that. Like, we just go through the daily motions, and sometimes that's okay too. And I'm not saying it's not okay. I mean, if you're just living and you feel like that's enough, then all the power to you. But for me, especially after I had kids, like I wanted to create something better for them. And it's not that I'm like necessarily saying I want to be rich and hand down money to my kids and make sure that they're taken care of forever. But I do want to build something that is my legacy, because even no matter how, I don't want to say no matter how famous you are, but for the most part, most average person, even if they've done some great things in their lives, as you go down life cycles, you will still be forgotten. You think you live forever, but even in the world of social media, you may be popular now, but once your video is buried, who's going to look at it 30, 40 years down the road? I mean, is that platform even going to be around? Art. Like, yeah, there's some good artists, and there's some people that, will always be remembered, like Michelangelo or, God damn it, Van Gogh. But even Van Gogh wasn't really famous until he wasn't here to enjoy it. And, so the reality is that by the time you're 4 generations down, even your family will have forgotten about you. Like, I don't know who my I know who my great grandpa is, or my great grandpa is, but I don't know who my great grandpa is. I never met him. I don't know these people. So unless I'm like searching Ancestry.com, I know nothing about them. And I think that's part of the reality. So, what I'm getting at is live your life to the best of your abilities. Do those things. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to fail, because, that's part of it. I mean, a lot of people would say that I fucked off in my 20s, but the reality is I was just living life the best I could at that point. And it wasn't until, my mom passed away that, and I was almost at 30, that I really started looking at my life in a different perspective. And even though all the things I did in my 20s, I don't regret, and I made amazing friends and met amazing people and stuff. And I always thought I was going to be this, in reality, I always thought I was going to be this big time DJ or this big time musician at the time. And, that just wasn't it. The reality is that, I realized that I needed to get my shit together after, my mom had passed, and I spent 2 years not really down a path that I saw as something I enjoyed in myself. And I think we all come to that point. They say hitting rock bottom. I don't know if it was necessarily ever hitting rock bottom, because life has always been hard at times. But I realized that it just wasn't who I saw in myself, in my future. And so I made that change. And for me, that was moving to Alaska. That was trying something different. And doing that made me meet my wife, made me have my kids. Even though going back to Washington and Washington always being my home, when we had our daughter, we decided to come back here. And I think always being open to what life brings you. Like when I first had came, I didn't think that we were going to stay here. I didn't think that there was a reason to stay, because what were we going to do? We wanted to be entrepreneurs. We wanted to be, I wanted to be in a big city. I thought my wife could be, a big designer for a big company and all that stuff. But once we spent a few years here, being back, I realized that there was opportunity for us here. And I think that's it. Like, you just have to be able to see those opportunities. You have to be able to not be afraid to take those risks, and also just to live your life and enjoy it, and to live it like, that there may not be a tomorrow, because the reality is that for a lot of people, there isn't tomorrow. And, and watching that video, that guy kind of talking about, he basically did the video and said, if you're watching this, I'm not here anymore. And I don't know, it was powerful. And I think that as I take my 43rd trip around the sun, and I hope that there's obviously more. I feel like I'm, somebody who's in good health, but you just don't know. Like, you just don't know what comes about. Just a few days ago, we lost Toby Keith, and I'm not a huge country music fan. I listen to it, but I know who he is, and I didn't even know that he was battling some of the stuff he was. And so I just think it goes to show that time, it doesn't go to show, but the reality is that time is finite. Life moves along as it needs to. And so I'm not trying to be morbid. It's my birthday, so happy birthday to me. I hope that everyone out there is doing good. And I think that this is just, hopefully a wake-up call, or hopefully a look back on my life and saying, you did it. You're here, and every step of the way has brought you to this point, and every step of the way for you will bring you to a point in your life. And, don't be afraid to have fun, to let yourself have fun, not get sucked in the moment of being perfect or not having all the answers. Don't feel like that life has outgrown you. You can reinvent yourself at any time. That is the great thing about being a human, is that if we see something we don't like, we have the ability for the most part to change it. And I'm not saying that's true for every situation. Obviously, there's some things you can't control. I don't want to say take time for granted, because, the fact is that most people do. Sure, there's some people who see somebody living their best life on Instagram, and they just decide that they're going to do it, and they figure it out. And that's cool too. But the reality is that most of us are just average people trying to get through the day, trying to better our lives, trying to better our kids' life. And those are the people I'm talking to. Pretty much anybody who's just feels down in a rut, or just feels like, what can I do to be better today than I was yesterday? And so, the thing is that life moves slow, but it also moves fast. And before you know it, things that you may have wanted to do or do may not be there anymore. And that's the reality of it. I mean, I almost have a daughter who's 10. I mean, she's about to be a tween, basically. And though she still has to do a lot of things, I mean, there's going to be one day, like one of the things we do is just, we do spaceships, rocket ships to bed. Not every night, but we try to make it a point, and she asks for it. And when she does, I try to say yes. And sometimes I've said no, sometimes I'm tired. And even though I feel like more times I say yes than no, even those times I say no, because how life moves, I will still have some sort of regret about that when the time has finally come that she doesn't want anymore, and it's coming sooner than later. And so, I'm just saying, wherever you are at in your path of life, just live in the moment the best you can. Make those memories with your friends. Make those memories with your kids. If you work a normal job, just set aside the money to do the things that you want to do, because you may not get a chance again. And I think that the American dream of go get a good job, start a business, have this house and a white picket fence, some of that stuff has changed. And, I'm an older person doing YouTube, and I've only gotten into it seriously in the last year. And, my kids have already talked about how they want to do it. I mean, we see a shift in how the American dream is. And I think that just setting goals and doing the things that you want to do, make those memories with your family, make those memories with your friends, take that trip you want to take, do it now. Don't wait, because you just don't know. And something may happen to a friend, something may happen to a loved one. Hell, something may happen to you, and you might regret doing it. And it's not saying that something like you go out and you're not here tomorrow, but you could, have an injury or something and you can't do that anymore. I mean, there's any things. And so what I'm trying to get at is just don't be fucking afraid to go live life and do what you can. And even if you aren't where you want to be, if you have the control to do it, do what you can to get in there. And I'm no motivational speaker. I've just lived here on this world for 43 years. I've lived a life. I've lived in foster homes. I've lived on the streets. I have, partied my 20s away. I got my shit together, after the loss of my mom. I married the love of my life, who's also artistic and supports me in what I do. And I would just say that I'm a proof that, especially for people who have been my age and lived in the generation I lived, is that shit happens, and, but you can control what you do, and you're in control of what you do. And, and also, like, if you think you got it bad, I remember growing up and going with my parents, my mom and my stepdad, to AA classes, and you'd hear their story and you think, God, that story sucks. And then you hear someone else and they usually have had it worse. And so there's always someone out there who's had it worse, and you can always make it better. And, if you see someone out there who's had it worse, try to be there for them and be a good person, because we need more love in this world, and we need more people to realize that this is our life, and this is life we're living, and we all live it together, and we should all treat each other that way. And we should all say fuck you to anybody who tries to take your time or messes with you or tries to control what you want to do with your life. And so set your goals, do what you want to do. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. Happy birthday to me. Like and subscribe to the channel. I know this is just a raw 20 minutes of me going off on life, and again, I wrote a script. I probably have gone off of it way more than I wanted to, and I think that's okay. But if that's why you're here and why you like the channel, then this is who I am. And if you don't, well, you can give it a thumbs down. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I will still be here tomorrow. I will still do the things I do. I'll still get up and try to kick ass. And if you don't like it, well, whatever. Happy birthday to me. Love you guys. And yeah, I got some cool stuff coming up in 2024. So I hope you follow along, and I hope you join us on this journey and be a part of my community. I'd love to talk to you. I love to talk to everyone and answer as many comments as I can. And yeah, stay tuned for some more cool stuff. I'm going to go do some birthday stuff and go spend time with my family, take my own advice, enjoy the day. All right, I'm out of here.